Hello there everyone at Zoo Lab. Once again, this is Philip back with another video about my animals. This time it is, in fact, we're getting busy, getting our hands dirty, cleaning out and feeding my snails. So I'm going to get the tank down. In fact, they're just up here, and hopefully I'll set the camera up right so that you can see them. Ooh, just in the front there. Now this is their enclosure. I can hold it up so you can see. There's the sort of bunch of them all happy as Larry in their little tank. Now what we need to do is what is called a spot clean first. I'll be taking the lid off so that I can get my hands in and basically try to find any mess that there might be inside here that I can essentially sort of pick out to clean up their environment. And it's typically things like this. This is the sort of the rind of some of their food that they don't like as much as the sort of the fleshy sort of middle. That's a bit of sweet potato there. It's things like that, as well as obviously inevitably some poo, perhaps there's another little bit of rind. So this is called a spot clean, and this is the easiest way to sort of keep the animals sort of tanks sort of relatively clean. Alongside that, every so often we do need to do deep cleans as well. That's when we'll get everything out, all the substrate, the soil at the bottom, clean all that out and clean everything, including perhaps even sometimes the snails themselves if they need a little clean as well. Doesn't look too bad in here. I fed them a while ago, so there's just a few bits of old sort of rinds, like I say, of some of the sweet potatoes left in here. Just check. Now this is also sort of a part of their food that's always inside their enclosure. This is a cuttlefish bone. This is what provides the sort of the snails with the calcium that they need to grow that shell. So they've got quite a bit of this in there because there's a fair few of them, so they can get plenty of calcium if they need it. Now, just having a quick look. What I can also do at this time, I'll pick out some poo here, which luckily their poo, when it is they eat things like sweet potato, for example, their poo will come out bright orange, which makes it very easy to find, which is good. That's looking pretty good. In fact, I think I've got rid of most of the rubbish in there. So that's pretty much the cleaning element of it done in this sort of spot clean, this smaller clean. And now it's a simple case of adding their food. What I've gone for today is essentially sort of vegetables again. They do love their sweet potato, and I'm also giving them some courgette, which they seem to like quite a lot as well. I tend to use sweet potatoes as a good one, and courgette actually, because they're a little bit drier and they last a little bit longer. You can keep them in your cupboards as opposed to sort of the fridge, and they don't sort of go off as quickly as sort of other things might, like sort of cucumber, which is again a sort of a popular one for these guys. So I tend to use these, but you can use sort of lots of different types of vegetables. They certainly do love cucumber and lettuce, all things like that. Apples as well, all sorts. In fact, they're not fussy eaters at all. So I'm going to put a fair bit of that in there for them because I've got a few snails, quite a few in fact. So we'll make sure there's enough food, all sort of scattered around. They'll sniff it out and they'll find it using their noses. If you haven't seen it already, Anna, my colleague, has already done a chat all about sort of snails and sort of some of their amazing things, including their senses, their eyes and their sort of sense of smell. That's their fooding, and the really important part, after all of that, is to get them really nice and wet. So the tank, in fact, for these snails always needs to be kept nice and moist. They do love the water. In fact, it's really important for sort of enabling them to sort of move themselves around. So, in fact, we get everything inside here really nice and wet. We'll give them lots and lots of water. In fact, you can even also sort of pour water in if you need to get their substrate a little bit wetter and to keep that humidity really nice and high. We'll give them lots and lots of water. This is a sort of spray bottle that's really effective. It's if you do have lots of animals, it's worthwhile getting one of these ones where you can pump it up so your hand doesn't get sort of tired constantly sort of pulling the trigger on a sort of a squeezy bottle. This allows you just to press the button down and to have a nice stream of water coming out. Now that looks pretty good to me. They're all nice and wet, all their food's wet, and I can see lots of them starting to come out and say hello. In fact, we can have a little look down inside now. If I pick this up and we can have a little look down together. Here they are all starting to come out and have some of their food. There's Big Turbo there in the middle. You can see his little face getting ready to chomp down on perhaps some sweet potato or some courgette. And that is the whole process. That is very much how it is I keep my my snails nice and clean, and that's how I feed them too. So I'll pop the lid back on. Here's that. And that's it until they're sort of hungry again in a couple of days' time, and I'll be spraying them every day to keep them the enclosures nice and moist. But there you go, there's a little insight into sort of how I keep my snails clean and fed. Anyway, thanks for listening. All the best from everyone here at Zoo Lab. I'll see you again soon with another video. Bye bye.